Oh, it's kind of dark. That's darker. Oh, no, that's not that bad. You know what? You know what I'll do? I'll put this over here and then have a white screen over here. That'll make it better. And I'll turn the brightness up. Ooh, oh, that's a little too bright. Okay. Hello, everybody that's watching this later, and there's one person that's here watching this right now. Hope y'all are doing better than I am today. There are a couple of things I wanted to touch on. Obviously, when we're doing 7-game series, it's going to be mostly the same thing over and over and over again. But there are obviously new things and new wrinkles and lessons that we've learned over the course of the first few games. So I think it would be to our benefit to look at a couple of those things right now. So let's look at a few of those things. First up is Miami and Indy. I don't think. Oh no, this is yesterday. Jesus Christ! Wait, why am I looking at Miami and Indy? Didn't that just happen yesterday? Okay, let's try this again. I must not have. So I'm doing this on my other computer. That's hard for me to get to, or harder for me to get to, pain-wise. So I've been working on my laptop, and I sat down here without everything set up, I guess. So try that again. We're going to start with Toronto and Brooklyn, which is one of the important ones, obviously, because Joe Harris left the bubble. So now we're going to have to figure out what is going on. Hey, Monique. Unfortunately, well, you know what? I am feeling a little bit better. I'm not great. Let's be honest, but it's better than yesterday overall. I just had these spasm jolts of pain that I get sometimes that were happening for a few hours. So I'm just I'm really worn out. That takes a lot out of me. It's just every 10 to 15 seconds, a bolt of pain that you can't even think anymore. Everything shuts off. So I had to deal with those, but the overall pain level is better than yesterday. So, Ryan, I guess you're going to have to keep tuning in to find out how many bathrobes I own, because this is another different one. I got more than this. There's a reason I called myself bathrobe. It's because I stay in a bathrobe all the time because it's the thing that hurts me the least to wear. Anything with elastic or something like that is agonizing to the hip and the back area. So bathrobes are really nice and easy most of the time. Of course. So let's start with the first game. Like I said, there's going to be it's obviously most of the analysis is the same, right? But with the things that change, we got to talk about the things that change. And some of those are really significant. So one of those is Joe Harris leaving the bubble. What does that mean? I think holistically, that means that Brooklyn is in a lot more trouble. As I had been saying since game one, Brooklyn's production and their chances are going to rest in the hands of LeVert, Allen, and Joe Harris. And if they are not going to be able to carry them through, working together, obviously, not all three of them at the same time, because Toronto's defense is fantastic. But if they each can't pick up for one another, it's going to be a tough road ahead. And now, instead of Joe Harris, that role is going to have to be filled by Garrett Temple and Luwawu Cabarrot, which is, not. I'm not going to say it's impossible. Both are fine NBA players. Let's be frank. Different skill sets completely, but fine NBA players. But I don't think either of them are as talented as 3-point champion Joe Harris, right, at the specialized role that he was filling and that they needed him for. Garrett Temple is a fine three-point shooter again. TLC can shoot some threes. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say either of them are bad. Like I've said to you several times now, I am a Nets fan. This is the team I root for. So, I'm aware of how they play and who they are. What I will say is this: the third string Nets beat the first string Bucks. Since that happened, anything can happen. I also want to say this: the rule that you should never predict a blowout is for situations like this, right? Never predict a blowout, I think, is a bad rule because it can't be used in all situations. Like if someone is like, let's say, Milwaukee is playing Atlanta, right? Not in the playoffs. Let's just say a regular season, the Bucks are playing the Hawks, right? The spread is like 16 or 17, and Giannis is like 50% owned. At that point, I believe predicting a blowout would be beneficial because the field is not. And by predicting a blowout, which is being predicted by Vegas and which legitimately might happen, you're going to be able to have a one-up on the field, right? But when the field might have less ownership of someone because they're predicting a blowout, that's when the rule applies, which makes it not a rule. But, that's when the idea then would apply. So I think today, given these third string Nets' success against good teams and good defenses, I have no problem riding a couple of those Toronto guys as well. However, I will say that Toronto doesn't have the same weaknesses that Milwaukee has in terms of like three-point shooting that these baby Nets are going to be able to take a lot of advantage of. So I have a lot less faith in the Nets this game than I would have if this were the Bucks in the same situation. But again, that being said, I think that the ownerships on some of these guys just aren't high enough, and I fear that is because of the blowout. And I think that is just a bad strategy because if Brooklyn can keep this close, this is going to be a relatively high-scoring game in terms of like condensed production. You're going to see it's not going to be spread out among like 15 people. This is going to be, a couple of people getting a lot of the work. So what I would look at here with Joe Harris out, I looked at all of the numbers and I will go to them specifically for you. I put them on another sheet, of course, and then did not open that sheet because my brain is still screaming at me, and I'm doing the best I can with the capacities that I have. I might be speaking slower than normal, and for that I also do apologize. So if you take everybody off the floor, and then leave Joe Harris on, you're going to see a boost to Jared Allen and Karis LeVert. If you take Joe Harris off the floor, you see a boost for Karis LeVert of a points per minute production on DraftKings. He goes from 1.12 to 1.35, which is phenomenal. But, and this is what I want to talk about. I look at the fact that Karis LeVert is going to be the focus of Toronto's defense, right? Because Karis LeVert is now like obviously the number one guy. not that he wasn't the number one guy before, but at this point they can, it's like we talked about yesterday, where they where Milwaukee was like, Gary Clark, you want to beat us? Go ahead. They don't have to focus as much on other people. And I think that this is going to be one of the situations where they can put a little bit more attention on Karis LeVert. I still think he's in a great spot, don't get me wrong. But I think that if you want to fade him in favor of the cheaper Nets and fit expensive guys in other places, I don't think that that's a crazy strategy, right? Joe Harris is not a very good defender, but I don't really think we've seen enough TLC against really good people in really high pressure situations. There's not enough sample size there. And Garrett Temple is, not great and a backup for a reason. So, I don't think Joe Harris was really helping the Nets defense much. And these new guys I don't think it's gonna be worse for anybody on Toronto. It might be slightly better for the wing guys, if anything. I like Van Vliet a little bit more. I'm getting there, Daniel. Please be patient. I'm literally in the middle of talking about the game, so I will get there. So the thing that I like is the other cheaper guys who saw a pretty insane boost. So you have Garrett Temple, who without Joe Harris on the floor saw his production go from 0.77 points per minute to 1 point per minute, which is 0.23 points per minute increase, which is absolutely fantastic. But Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot saw his PPM go from 0.75 to 1.12, which is a lot more. That is significant. That puts him as the third highest producer on the team, behind Karis LeVert and slightly behind Jared Allen. But when you consider that Jared Allen is going to see Gasol a lot of the game, and Karis LeVert is going to see Van Vliet's defense most of the game, while I respect, OG and his defense, I think that TLC is going to be in a really fantastic spot here. So if I'm picking one person on the Nets, it is going to be TLC. To me, it's not really even close, for a couple of reasons. Namely, one, the math that I showed you. The math that I showed you here is significant. Like, this is not 20 minutes of sample size. This is like 150 minutes sample size, which isn't a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, we're taking a whole season of sample size, but 150 minutes with these people on the floor is not nothing. It's not nothing. It's not irrelevant, I should say. So, Luwawu-Cabarrot going up from 0.75 to 1.12, he goes from slightly less than Garrett Allen points per minute wise to 0.12 more, which is phenomenal. And the reason for that is the other reason I like him more, which is because TLC really does provide more. Like I said before, they're different players. You're going to get that shooting from Garrett Temple. If Garrett Temple gets hot from outside, he can put up 30 real points today. That's not crazy. I don't think it's incredibly likely he has to be hot for a long period of time, but they're going to need people to shoot, and he's going to need to shoot. If he plays 35, 36 minutes, 30 real points is not out of the question. So, I don't think you need to choose between the two. I think you can play both, and there's plenty of points to go around for both guys. But that being said, TLC will shoot outside. He will have no problem taking the ball to the basket, trying to draw fouls or just trying to get an easier shot. He rebounds. He plays, he's decent with the ball. He's just more of an all-around player. So to me, when you have someone like that who has an outside chance for like a double-double, and can get you a bunch of points anyway, who might see the easiest of the defensive matchups, I like TLC the best. But if I'm putting it in order, I want to play TLC, then Garrett Temple, and then Karis LeVert. But I don't mind playing two of those three without any question whatsoever. I think that going to other people is not really necessary on Brooklyn. I understand that during the restart, when people were missing, they would go down to like a whole bunch of third stringers, and I just don't think that we're going to see them today. I don't think we're going to see like a Martin. I don't think we're going to see, I don't think we're going to see those guys get any sort of minutes today unless there is a blowout. So, while they might have been popular picks during the restart when things didn't matter, I don't think that they're smart plays today. So I think that we have a little bit of ownership too. So that actually makes me happy because I think that's better for us. So yeah, I mean, TLC's 46, excuse me. Temple's 51. I don't mind playing both. LeVert at 81, seeing that defense is a little tougher to lock in. Allen at 7,100. I mean, I know the dude's been playing well. I know he almost put up close to 50 last game, if I remember correctly. Let me double check. What was it? 40? Oh, 45. I mean, 45 is close enough to 50. But he played 41 minutes, which is, double the minutes he was playing in some games when DeAndre Jordan was a member of the Nets. So, I don't think playing Jared Allen is crazy, but he would be my fourth play here. He sees the smallest increase with Joe Harris and everybody else off the court. And, if Gasol is playing normal defense, I trust that. So, while I don't think it's crazy for Jared Allen to get 35 today, I think that that's not going to win you the tournament. So, all right. Okay. So I'm going to see if there's any questions. Yeah, I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind Allen. I'm sorry. Maybe I haven't looked at the pricing. Oh, geez. No. Yeah. Gobert is 300 more than Jared Allen. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, that's not even a question to me. An League of Legends question. That goes off in 14 minutes. So I'm going to answer that really quickly. Yes, I am. I'm going to go all in on Schalke until they stop. They turned a switch a couple months ago, and they just seem fantastic. So I'm going all in on Schalke, and I think Liquid is a better team than GG, but I'm going to take a chance on GG today because I think there's a chance GG wins, and I think the ownership on Liquid is going to be like monumental, way over what it should be for what I think the odds of that game are. So I'm going to take that chance and go GG. And if they win, I'm going to probably make a decent amount. And if they lose, then, that's fine because I could have played Liquid and lost anyway, given what I expect the ownership to go. God knows there have been plenty of 2-game slates where you pick both correct teams and you're still out of the cash. So that's not even a guarantee, just picking the right teams if they're both chalk. Okay. I hope that answered that. Okay. I answered about Jeremiah Martin. Nets, how many nets is too many? I think 4 is too many on DraftKings, but 4 would be fine on FanDuel. 4 out of 8 is a little too much, but 4 out of 9, I think, is you can get away with. But again, that's up for debate too. But give me 3 max on DraftKings. There's still some other people I want to get in there today. Yes, to answer about Vincent, I am still over Embiid and Leonard. I'll get to that though, and I'll get to the Raptors in a second now. Yeah, I don't mind going for Schalke either. I think that's probably what I'm going to be doing. It's okay, Vincent. It's not. Like I said. We're none of us are perfect. We're all gonna do. We're all gonna do what we need to do. So you people ask, it's fine. I'm not gonna be angry at anybody. Okay, so let's talk about Toronto now. Again, I think that they're not going to see any real. Garrett Temple, I would say, might even be worse than Joe Harris defensively. They're both not great though. Really and truly. So, I don't think it's going to be a boost to Toronto. I think what we're going to see is an increased chance for a blowout. But, and this is the important but, right? There was a blowout in game 1, right? And Van Vliet still played like 40 minutes. So if Toronto doesn't care about blowouts, right? This is a question of coaching strategy and the coaching philosophy. Some people, when it gets to the playoffs, see a blowout and go, okay, let's protect the guys from injury. Let's make sure we have them fresher for later games or next round or the finals or whatever. Other coaches say, it's playoffs. We need you to be able to play 40 minutes a game if you need to. So you're going to play 40 minutes a game. And that's it. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter the opponent. It doesn't matter what the score is. You're going to play your minutes because we need you to be in that shape. And not just 40 minutes in the gym, 40 minutes of game action. And I believe Nurse is one of those guys from what I've seen. So even with the increased chance of a blowout, I think we're going to still see like pretty consistent minutes from these guys, right? With upside for more. Van Vliet got 43 minutes or something like that in the second game. So if he gets 39 or 40 minutes in a blowout and 43 minutes in a close game, what's the harm in playing him against a weak Brooklyn team, that's going to be playing weak people minus Karis LeVert. So I think that what you're going to see is Toronto, specifically Van Vliet, be significantly under-owned for what he should be. So Van Vliet for me is one of my favorite plays of the day, period. If I'm doing that thing where I start my lineup with 3 people again, today my lineup is going to be Embiid, Kawhi, and Van Vliet. So to answer another question from before, yes, I am still on Embiid. I am still on Kawhi. I'll get to that in a minute. I don't have as much to say about some of those games because there's not much that needs to be said about those games. But for me, I really, really like some of these Toronto guys, specifically Van Vliet. I like Lowry. Siakam is the one that concerns me the most because I think they're protecting him more. So in that blowout, he got 31 minutes. In the closer game, he got 36 minutes. I don't think that that's too crazy, right? So if it blows out, he might only see 31 minutes. At 7,300 compared to like 7,600 for Van Vliet, I'd rather have Van Vliet. So I love Siakam as a player. I love his upside. But if Van Vliet's going to have 40 to 43 minutes and Siakam's going to have like 31 to 35, give me Van Vliet for 300 more. It's just for me, it's not really a comparison unless you're just trying to be clever for GPPs, but I'm not going to do that. So give me Van Vliet, give me Lowry, give me Siakam. And I don't mind, again, if you want to go to some of those other guys, because again, I think that Nurse is going to run out, similar rotations with similar players regardless until it gets like really deep in the game. And even then, so if you want to go hard on Norm Powell, who's done really well, I don't mind it. He's still too cheap for what his playoff role is. OG, they've corrected his price some, but again, like I said in game 1 and like I said in game 2, he's someone who can get you 30 pretty easily, like the Royce O'Neal. Like I said, that enough and are asked to shoot enough that 30 isn't crazy. And I just got an unstable connection. Okay, hopefully I just started back up again. Hello. Okay. Hello. Okay, there we go. FVV over anyone that's not Kawhi or Embiid, as far as I'm concerned today. Okay, so I think I answered everything about the Toronto. OG is fairly priced. Powell is underpriced. I don't really want to touch anybody else. Ibaka's a little over. Gasol is okay at 4,000. I don't think it's crazy as a GPP play, but his ownership is just going to be too high. Let's take a look quickly at Denver and Utah with Conley coming back. With Conley coming back, we see Mitchell become an 8,000 player instead of a 9,400 player. That's just the way the math works. He doesn't do as much ball handling, and that's just going to be a tougher road for him. I still think he's going to do a lot of shooting. I still think that Denver's wing is significantly weaker. I don't think that's a question. Significantly weaker with the two big injuries, but at the same time, I think that Mitchell had his price inflated dramatically due to the usage bump he got with Conley out, including that 80-something point DKP game. But now with Conley back in, Conley is going to do the ball handling. He's going to get some shots. Clarkson's still going to play minutes. He's still going to get his shots. Inglis is still going to get his shots. Gobert's going to still do what Gobert does. Royce O'Neal's still going to be, making noise and doing what he does, not commanding usage, but doing what he needs to when the situation presents itself. So I don't think Mitchell is a play I'm going to take today. I think his ownership is going to be too high. Conley, on the other hand, I think will play 30 to 35 minutes. He might be a little rusty, but I honestly don't mind him. He's 5,900. I don't think it's crazy for him to get 40 to 45 DKP today. So if you can get him in there too with those other three guys, he's someone I really do love today. Him being back makes me like Clarkson a little less. Clarkson at 5,500 makes me like Clarkson a little less. That being said, he's still not a terrible play, but I expect him to get less run and less usage. So I think his ownership is also going to be too high. And you'll see, the price bump and the ownership bump remain longer than they should. Like those should go down today, both the price and the ownership, but we should see higher than expected or higher ownership than it should be. I'm sorry, my words today are it's very hard for me to think a couple sentences ahead like normal. So I'm doing my best, folks. I'm sorry. So, I like Inglis because I don't think his role is really going to change, and his price is still fine at 5,700. I think Gobert is another, like I've been saying, Gobert is a 50-point DKP upside guy, 7,400. Always worth taking the chance. If anything, I think Conley's presence might help Gobert because when Mitchell has the ball, Mitchell's really concerned with shooting, as you've seen. When Conley has the ball, he doesn't mind, running more distributive plays, things that would get Gobert more involved. So I don't mind having a little more Gobert. I think he's going to wind up being helped. I think Inglis might wind up being helped. I think Mitchell and Clarkson are going to be hurt. But Conley is going to be a major factor in this game and is going to change the way it all plays out and the way I think, a lot of the usage goes because of, how the ball handling is going to go and who everything is running through. Okay. Tyler Johnson starting is fine. Who cares? That's fine by me. I don't mind. Yeah, Clarkson's not a terrible play. I don't think he's a bad play. I just don't think that he's as good a play as the price and the ownership indicates. So I think it's smarter to be less on him. I'd rather have Conley at 59. I'll spend that extra 400 and go to him. On the Denver side, I don't really think, that much changes. I think the strategy is I'm still going to go with Murray primarily. I'm still going to have a lot of Jeremy Grant. I'm still going to have some Jokic because he's still the main cog in this team, even though he's going against what could be the best center defender in the game. But like I said before, he can do whatever he needs to do. And 9,300 is always underpriced for him. For the one lineup I'm playing, he's just too expensive. I'm not going to be able to fit him in. But if you're playing multiple lineups, I wouldn't mind having one Jokic. I mean, like if you're playing 3 lineups, having one that has Jokic in it. Porter as well. Like I said last time, Porter, in order to be relevant now, is going to have to get hot from outside and stay hot. That's what he did, right? He got hot from outside. He stayed hot. He went 6 for 9, put up 40 DKP. He's 7,000 almost. So that 40 DKP is good, but it's a far cry from 50 or 55, and it's a far cry from someone who's like 5,000. So Porter, again, not a bad play, but he even showed you, what it's going to take for him to have like a 6x game, and I don't think that there's going to be a lot more there in the playoffs. Barring, again, some crazy stuff happening. But I would consider that to be a pretty big fluke. So I'm definitely, going to be less than the field on Porter. But I understand taking him in GPPs because I definitely understand the ceiling. Hello, Zachary. Okay. Hey, I hope I've been winning a lot of people money over the last few days because while some of the takes have not worked, like LeBron not being needed yesterday because Davis did everything, for the most part, I've been pretty good. Duncan Robinson was really nice. Giannis and Vooch still did pretty good. So anyway, well, I just saw some breaking news on the MLB network, but I missed the end of it, so that probably isn't good. Probably the Mets are postponed for like 2 weeks now. Give me Conley at 59. Give me Jeremy Grant at 45. I really like Jeremy Grant. I just really like him. He does so much. I know OG does too, but when Jeremy Grant is on the floor, he is a bigger fish than when OG's on the floor. You know what I mean? So I'll take that chance with Jeremy Grant, especially when I don't think he's going to be owned nearly as much. I think if you're playing cash, go with OG though. I always try to talk from a GPP perspective, so I should make that clear now, right? Yeah, I mean, I always say play bigs against Portland, but that still was a lot. Um, that still was a lot. I mean, he was just doing assists, he was hitting threes, he just couldn't miss last night. He was making the crazy step back jump. Oh, just beautiful, beautiful. He was playing a beautiful game. It's what you really love to see out of him when he's healthy. It's a shame that he's made of glass, and next game he'll be injured 6 minutes into it at 45% ownership, and the whole field will be like, "What? I can't believe that happened. Anthony Davis got injured. I've never heard of such a thing." Um, Briefly to touch on the last two games, because not much has changed from the last game. Boston, I still, I think Tatum has proven that they can't stop him if he's doing well. So I like Tatum, but I don't like 9,200 for Tatum. I do think he has 50 DKP upside with, maybe 60 if everything goes really well. So it's not a bad play. But again, I'd rather spend for other people in that price range. Embiid, again, if you watch that game, Embiid came out crushing it. And then the game got out of hand, and he just didn't have to do as much or didn't put as much effort in because he didn't need to dominate anymore because there was no reason to play like that. But if we get a full game of Embiid playing like he did when the game was close, he's going to put up 70 or 80 DKP. And that is going to happen one of these games. So I'm going back to Embiid again. He's not going to kill you, but in good situations, he's going to help you win a significant amount of money. So love Embiid today. He's still one of the core that I have that I'm building my one lineup around. I love Brown. I love Walker. Still, I think the guards are still the best plays. And with Hayward out, I think that they're still going to see a nice increase in terms of their usage and their shooting. Everyone else here is, hit or miss at best. Hit or miss at best. Are TLC and Lou Will similar prices somewhere? Are they the same price on FanDuel or something? Give me a second, because that would be hilarious. 51 on FanDuel and 56 on. Yeah, I mean that's pretty close. I'd go Lou Will. I'd go with Lou Will there, but that's not as much of a runaway as you might otherwise think. I don't, again, because, and this is one of the things the points I was making. One of the reasons I liked TLC instead of Garrett Temple is because Garrett Temple is going to be really scoring dependent, whereas TLC will do everything, right? So Lou Will, he's going to get the shots, he's going to get the usage, but if his shots aren't falling, you're not going to get anything out of him. TLC is still going to give you points regardless, because he does do so much around everywhere. So I'll go Lou Will because I do think Lou Will's going to outscore him, but I don't think it's 100%. I don't think it's a slam dunk. I would rather play Embiid and Seth Curry. So I do like that. That's funny. Anthony Davis. I've never heard that. That is really fucking funny. Holy shit. Dude, that is really funny. Anthony Davis. That is really funny. I don't know who came up with that, but I want to know so that I can give them credit when I use that in the future, because that is wonderful. So yeah, my opinion on Boston, Philly hasn't changed at all. When it comes to the, excuse me. When it comes to the Clippers and Dallas, Most of my opinions haven't changed here, right? There are a couple players, and C. Millard asked me about it. Right now, a couple players for whom my opinion has changed. So, one, I think we saw full game Luka Doncic with Kristaps and what he's going to do against the defenses of Kawhi and PG, which is still have a good game, right? But he might give you 50, 55 DKP. I think other players are going to have less ownership and higher upside. I think Kawhi is going to have a good chance of outscoring him today at 9,600. So I'm definitely going to take him. Paul George is being priced up, and that's fair. Also, don't mind Paul George. I just think Kawhi has more upside because he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. I again think the best way to attack the Clippers is going to be with bigs. So even though he was not successful last game, I am still a big fan of Porzingis here. And when it comes to the mid-priced guys, I think that Lou Will has turned that corner that I wanted him to turn. So I like Lou Will a lot today. I really like Lou Will a lot today. And I have to say I was wrong about Marcus Morris. I just didn't think he was going to be asked to do that much or be able to do that much when asked to. But he's gotten back-to-back 30-plus DKP performances, and he's doing everything he needs to put up stats across the board. So I really think that he's someone who should be closer to 6,000. So at 5,000 on DK, he is an absolute steal. I also think that we're going to see Montrezl continue to shake off rust, continue to build up those minutes. As long as Lou Will's playing, I'm a big fan. And one of these games, he's going to put up 30 to 40 DKP. And if they keep pricing with 4,100, he's someone you're going to want in your lineup when that happens. Now, Dallas is very good against bigs. Just all season, they've been very good against bigs. So I don't think, this is one of those slam dunk things. But I do think that, again, he looked a lot better last game. And I think he's going to look even better this game. And 4,100 is kind of ridiculous if he's going to get 25 or so minutes. And I don't think that that's too crazy. I also think that Boban got 25.75 DKP in 10 minutes. And that's just things that he can do. So as long as he's getting 10 to 15 minutes, if he's 3,400, you have to keep him in your player pool. If Beverly is out, I, again, don't think it's a lock because Kawhi is doing most of the ball handling, but you've got to keep Reggie Jackson in mind at 3,500. Seth Curry, I think that he can do better than the almost 25 DKP that he's been putting up. So, going under 4,000 for that is also a great play. There's some really good value to be had here. I really like Kawhi. I like Porzingis, but I'd still much rather have Embiid as my favorite center today. But I think there's a lot of mid-priced and cheap guys that you can go with. Now, I'm going to answer questions for like 10 minutes. I'm having a hard time. So if y'all will do me a favor and just re-ask any questions that I didn't get to. Again, this could be basketball, baseball, League of Legends. I don't care. CSGO. I stacked Mad Lions today against Mouse Sports. I got Zhush at 5%. He put up 90-something DKP. And there's, I think, my son hiding in the background and my little dog. I guess my wife's up. Hey, buddy. Are you going out somewhere?
Yeah. And I'm going to go go in a car somewhere.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, that's why.
All right, I'll be done in a minute. I'll talk to you guys about it. All right. Gobert or Jokic, if they're the same price somewhere, give me Jokic. If you're talking about with the price discrepancy, give me Gobert. Royce O'Neal, Marcus Morris, Kemba are good plays, yes. I like all three of them. Reggie Jackson, only if Pat Bev is out, and even then, it's like, ew. Would I rather Porzingis Temple or Jokic Curry? I'd rather Porzingis Temple. There is no set strategy, Elohel. It depends on the slate every time. That's the thing I want to teach people more than anything. Anyone who tries to tell you there's like a set way to do things or a set way to build lineups is trying to sell you something, right? Like there are so many variables every day, people being out and people being in. It's just there's no set rule, and there's no way to say there's a set rule. So it's silly to say, oh yeah, build stars and scrubs if you're playing GPPs. Start with the expensive guys, start with the cheap guys, play the centers first. Like there's no way to tell someone to do that. So anyway, no, my captain was actually Acor from Mad Lions as well. I like CSGO a lot. I really thought Mad Lions couldn't pull that one out, and they did. And it was 2-0. Acor got me 110 at the captain's spot. I did play Nico, though.
Talking to his friends.
Morris Porzingis or Luka Harrell? Ooh, give me Morris Porzingis. Because, again, he just came in big dog. Oh, that's so funny. I love that boy and that dog. All right, guys. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I love you all. I hope I helped y'all today. Tomorrow I'll be back to writing. If not, I'll be able to do a better video, I promise. But thank you guys very much for all the love and support. This kid's a ham, isn't he? I love him so much. He loves this too. Like he always asks to talk to my friends on the video because I tell him that you guys are my friends, basically. So he wants to talk to daddy's friends and help him make videos. All right. I'll talk to you about it. Look at my projections and it's BRR rating. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Catch you later, guys.